Hello and welcome to vlog 2 of the Athenaeum campaign.
Yay!
So what do you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
this was
Still
action
winding
packed.
down. It was very intense.
That was a lot.
This was action packed, and I loved it. I loved every minute. Yeah,
So many
Do you
feels.
feel that I did your world justice so far?
yeah, definitely. It was because it definitely has that action element, and all of the other stuff that came in, like the romance triangles, all intertwined, like magically. It was amazing. Yeah, it was definitely it. You captured it. And everyone did like added their elements that made it like perfect.
It was a lot of fun. As I was saying earlier, black powder, smooth, cool criminal
Yeah.
black powder. Like I said, I have met guys like that before. So I was like, when Reginald was in the room, I was like, I know Reginald. I'm rocking with this
like,
cat. Let's go.
I was definitely like pulling some major Karen vibes of like, I want to talk to your manager.
Yes. How dare you make me give
Because
you
those are
my
always the
IP?
most rich, entitled people in the world who do
Mhm.
that. It's like, let's play it up.
Yeah, I like it. Yep, love it.
It was so good. It was so good.
Making
And
it a heist was genius.
it was.
Yeah, you like the heist?
Yeah, making it a heist is brilliant because it lets everyone kind of do stuff from like social to action. Like it's a great combo.
Yeah,
Everyone
Brilliant.
really got to shine in this one.
yeah.
Especially Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the NPCs too all got to shine as well.
Oh my god. That whole trap card, I was just like, I was too through. I was too through.
Like the Sue versus Tori.
Yes.
Yeah, Sue versus
Oh.
Tori. Yeah.
My concept was like, I knew girls like that. Who did this shit?
That was very. I didn't plan to try to romance Felix at all. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, just kind of. Yeah.
But I'm so glad because now we get this cool feud.
I was almost surprised that you didn't kind of sort of go for the bad boy, like Henry the bad boy kind of thing, because Felix is really more of the nice guy. And
Yeah.
Pio sounding like, because of Pio, like I felt like you kind of went for the bad boys, but maybe because of Pio you decided, I'm gonna try something different.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the idea. Is like it didn't work out with Pio for a reason, so let me try a nicer guy
Yeah.
and see how it goes. But I mean, that's not to say she might not show any interest in Henry. She's still, there's plans to talk to
Yeah.
Henry in the future.
I think it would be cool. I really think it'd be cool for you to talk to Henry.
Next session's gonna have a lot of Henry chats.
Yeah.
We are
like
not
Powder wants to
biggest
say them.
No, and then Sam's crush
That was the
with
cutest
Sue,
thing.
and then Sue transforming into you're like, oh damn.
Right?
Yeah.
That was so cute.
It was.
Yeah, when I was trying to come up with the concept for your NPC. So the thing about this campaign that's a little bit different from the last campaign is at the moment I only have one NPC plan to follow you around. And that's just because of the nature of this campaign. There's just so many characters and it's kind of hard for you to just be dragging random NPCs everywhere with you.
Yeah.
And so I picked one, then I was like, fundamentally, like, do I make this one a girl or a boy? And I was like, maybe I can do both. Like, and maybe I can do two characters in one. So if I mentioned before, there's this old school anime that I used to watch called Ranma 1/2.
Yes.
And in Ranma 1/2, the premise was there was this boy named Ranma. He gets cursed such that if he gets splashed by cold water, he transforms into a girl.
Mm-hmm.
But then if he gets splashed by hot water, he transforms back to a boy. And so I kind of went with that, and I was like, ooh, this is really cool. But I don't want to do the same thing with water and hot water. And I was like, maybe if I made her allergic to something, like a cat, and like, oh, that's it. If she sees a cat as a girl form, she sneezes, she turns to a boy. When the boy sneezes from a dog, he turns back to a girl. Like, that's so cool.
Hilarious.
That was
And
clever.
and that way I could also do two different anime tropes, because you've got the magical girl trope, but then you've got the Goku and Yu-Gi-Oh like anime trope. Like, yeah, I'm totally doing this.
Honestly,
Totally gonna cheat to get 2 characters in one.
With that, my first thought was there's a character from like Dragon Ball who, when she sneezed, she turned into a complete maniac, like murder lady. But when she sneezes again, she's like the sweetest thing.
Yes, I remember.
Oh my goodness.
Nice. I didn't know about that, but that's cool that concept is a thing. So I'm a big fan of sous vide, and yes, I kind of stole the name sous vide from Callista, because when Callista was doing the interview with Ronick, I was like, yeah, I like that. I gotta use that somehow. Sous vide.
I'm curious to see how the library is going to change again when we come back from this world.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any
that would be
theories of what could come from Frankie's world into that room?
What again?
Like technology, maybe? Like maybe like weapons of some sort? I don't know.
I was thinking a car.
A car.
car that you just drive around in.
A hover car. I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. Of a transport or something. But I could be wrong.
What'd you say?
Computers, maybe.
Oh, maybe like earbuds, communication devices.
Okay, I like that. Oh my goodness! And I gotta say to Sam, that was a real thug move. You got shot, and you were still like, you know what? The Tommy gun. I'm like, yes, that artwork is coming. Don't worry.
Dual Tommy guns.
Yeah, dual Tommy gun. Sam is coming. Oh, and the rest of the artwork is coming. I'm right now in the middle of the full-on anime look.
We'll need that first.
Yeah.
For the first session, yes.
Yes.
That'll be cool.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I can't wait to show everybody everything that's done. But going back to Sam, that was a real cool scene. I really liked that. And whole Frankie's his growl at the dude. I was like,
I love that.
That gave me so much life. So much fun.
Man, Frankie's world is so dark compared to Gourmet City.
Right?
The tone shift. The tone shift.
Total Whiplash is so real.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, I love how there is still humor.
That's what I liked about everyone adding their elements into the world, because it did change it slightly. Had it just been pure Frankie, it's different. But with all these other characters coming in with a little bit of comical, with Sue like being funny, and and then Star being makeover time, and it's just like Tori Baba Boom coming out, like, come on.
Yeah, it's so great.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Everyone adds their element and flavor into the scenes, that it just kind of changes Frankie's world.
Yeah.
Also,
the cool reveal of one of the abilities of Sam's character, when he can touch objects and hold on to objects.
That was pretty cool.
Yes.
Amazing.
I like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this was good. I'm really glad that this turned out really great. I mean, Hark, you did a great job setting up the scene. So
part of me was actually hoping that Sam would touch one of the devices, one of the panels or on the computer, so they actually transform into like a 1920s computer, which technically would have made it a lot easier for Henry to hack. Because it would have. So I was kind of seeing if he would do that, but it never became a thing. And so I was like, you got to come up with some really creative ways to use that ability, because that could be really cool if you could just de-age things.
Yeah.
Or if you were in a different, like in Black Powder's world, like modernize things.
Yeah.
Modernize things maybe. So that's
that would be cool.
just throwing it out there.
That's thought about doing something with the vehicles, but because the casino was floating, there's nothing I can. I mean, I'd be more of a hamper there, but so much opportunity.
Oh.
yeah, this was good. Good session.
It was. I love the fact that Tori set the chili on fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I'm gonna let her have her moment, and I'm gonna swoop in at the right time. And
one thing I loved about Tori, and this as a GM, I love this, is that she's very much an active character. She's not passive at all. She's like, I'm gonna go look at this thing. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll check this out. Like she doesn't wait for things to happen to her. She just does it.
And that's one of her like flaws too. Well, the curiousness is a flaw, and then I believe there's another one where, oh gosh, if she doesn't like to strategize too much, she just likes to go in and dive right in. So if we're spending too long like strategizing, she's eventually just going to be like, no, let's go. Come on, we're wasting time.
Also about the whole love triangle thing, I don't know how Emily interpreted this, but from Sue's point of view, it was never mean-spirited. It was more like, okay, we're gonna both be rivals against this guy, and we probably will kind of sort of sabotage each other, but not in a I hate you kind of way.
Yeah.
More of a, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, go play with them. So I love how we were like, yeah, you should cook him something. It's like, yeah, you should show him your dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should. I was like, that was perfect.
Nothing too malicious, just solid and fun.
I mean, setting the chili on fire was pretty extreme.
It was. But
that was hilarious, though.
I know.
It was very Tory.
Emily felt
very
bad.
Oh, man.
No, you should feel bad.
With Felix having to ask Black Powder and Sam about thing too. Man, that was so challenging because as a character, both I think Black Powder and Sam have that dad mentality, but they're trapped in the teenage bodies.
Right. Exactly.
So
you kids need to grow up first. like,
I wasn't sure if you guys were going to still take on that like dad persona, or if you were going to try to act like more teenage versions of yourselves. But I like that you stuck with the dad thing.
I like that too.
And that's what I liked about like the scene with Black Powder and Frankie, because honestly, like I was debating on which PC Frankie would have like a crush on.
Yeah.
And I debated, and when you posted that picture, I was like, done. It's got to be Black It's got to be Black Powder. And it was interesting, the dynamic, because Black Powder's still like the dad. And so Frankie's like, I'm having this crush and I feel guilty about it. And then Black Powder's like, you'll be all right, kid. This will pass.
It's one of those things like with this world, because we're all like extra flirty and lecherous and kind of stuff like that. It's like Black Powder's feeling some things, but he doesn't exactly know what to do with it. Because he's like, I'll be supportive right now, but I'm still going to keep a distance.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what I love about Frankie soft crushing on one of the older characters is that Frankie, I don't think, ages. So if he's going to get into a relationship with Victor's going to eventually be older, and Frankie's probably going to stay young. So again, it's that Twilight thing.
Yeah.
Like where the vampires don't age. So I think that's really interesting as well.
My fear is that with Victor, how long has he been captive? Like a while, I'm guessing. Like my fear is there's gonna be some like Hunger Games shit, and he's gonna be brainwashed, and he's gonna like attack Frankie or something. That's my biggest fear. It's like, oh god, that would tear that poor sweet boy apart.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. I have an idea for Frankie and Star to have an encounter, but we'll see what happens in the story. If it roles play in that direction, Star has a way to try to help Frankie with some stuff, and not just Frankie. Star has an idea for everybody, but yeah.
Star. I do love that, like especially Sam is still very much like, take care of the kid.
Yeah, I love
take care of the kid.
Like, he's falling. What do you expect me to do? I'm not the one with wings.
Oh my god! I should have did another flight, but for some reason I thought I could catch her, and yeah, that was a. Well,
what was it, like 3 different failed attempts? I thought I was gonna fall to my death.
Like, it was so bad because I initially looked at Star's like, Star, you gonna go? And then Star's like, I'm gonna try to grab. I was like, okay, I'm jumping.
Like that jumping alone could have killed 3 of us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
So intense.
It was intense.
Meanwhile, Sam's at 1 health point.
I I was nervous.
Yeah, holding on.
That's why I was waiting until the end, because I was like, I'll make sure everybody else makes it first.
Oh, such a hero.
Right?
Some character flaws.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what's great. It's like this world is meant to bring out the hero in all of you, which I think this was really cool how that did.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Really
I totally agree. And I have tons of notes on, well, y'all can't see it, but I made tons of notes on each character. So whatever I find interesting, that's what I'm talking about. This on the same page. Y'all don't understand. but that was so much fun, though. I do have a question for you guys, because I do have to leave in just a minute. Today is my wedding anniversary, so 12 years.
Congratulations.
I have a fun event planned for me and Christina. But anywho, my question to you guys is, in this experience, what is your biggest takeaway?
In today's
session?
In this session,
today's session?
In today's session.
Biggest takeaway?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, good question.
In what sense? Like as a player, or like for our characters, or?
I would say for your character.
Okay.
My biggest takeaway, which is something that I didn't anticipate until Tori started talking to Felix, is how much in common they have about their sister, their closeness with their sisters.
Yeah.
And so I always, whenever I find a situation where a PC is trying to romance an NPC, I try to find those commonalities with them, and just by talking, I was like, oh yeah, like that's something they totally have in common. And so I'm really curious to like leverage that more and see how that relationship goes.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest takeaway there.
Yeah.
Hashtag Fury, I ship it.
Yeah.
Fury?
Fury.
Fury? I like that. Tolix or Tolix or something?
I love it.
You sound like a condom brand.
Oh god.
Sorry. I don't want to give too much away, but something happened at the very end that was like, fuck, damn it, Alex. Something happened with Black Powder at the very end.
Oh.
And
I didn't notice that.
I don't want to say anything, but it's like, God damn it. Shit.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll find out. Hopefully we'll find out in the next session.
Maybe.
I definitely am very curious. Unless somebody else goes after her, I'm definitely curious to see what's going to happen between Veed and Agatha. Or there definitely is some flirting between those two as well. Yeah. So Agatha and Veed would be kind of interesting.
So how would we do that one? Agavid? I ship it. I sign.
So for me, I thought it was great for Sam. You know, as I was thinking about how he's going to progress in his own kind of development arc, breaking out of that stoic, character that the detectives are always written as. There's no like personal growth or anything. They're exactly the same from book to book or story to story. So by going first to a gourmet city, I think that was like the rude awakening. Now he's starting to get like impacted by Frankie's world first, which I thought is really interesting because it's so dynamic and powerful for feeling, which Sam isn't very, used to in his own stories. So I thought it was definitely going to be impacting him that way. Yeah.
I think that's very true, because I think as you grow older, you forget what it's like to be a teenager or to be really young. And I think that's what happens a lot when you become a parent and you have a child, and the child is like, you don't understand me, or something along the line. You're right, because you kind of forget what it's like. And so I feel like when both Sam and Black Powder are back into the situation, internally you probably just feel, chemistry-wise, you feel like that emotion, deeper emotions that normally are like muted as you grow older a little bit and mature. So that makes perfect sense.
And that's a big part of why I wanted to go so young with him too.
I think Frankie's biggest takeaway is seeing this group of strangers that he was kind of very apprehensive about, and how quickly they have become like as close to him, like as Felix and Agatha have, like especially seeing them kind of put themselves on the line like this. He really, really will do anything for them now.
That's what's up.
Sweet.
Right.
I guess it's similar to Alex in some ways. Tori just having difficulty making friends. I don't know. The only person she's ever really felt that close connection to is Carmen. And so now that she's starting to see, I think she's starting to realize that some of her actions may not always yield good results. And it can put the group in danger. Like when she lit the cards on fire, it actually caused a little bit of a panic, and jumping off head first and completely failing, putting herself in danger, and then putting everybody else in danger just trying to rescue her. I think she's starting to think about those things a little bit more.
Yeah. And even though she fought back a little bit, I actually thought it was some character growth that she allowed Star to not only like make over her once, but essentially twice.
Yeah.
Essentially. So, yeah, that was pretty neat, I think.
Yeah. I would say Star's biggest takeaway is that Star's realizing more and more how much of a true outsider he is. Because he's really so different from everybody. Even though Frankie is essentially like a zombie-ish, but he's still human. And there's a lot of common ground. Even with Sue, there's like or Vid. V, sorry. There's still a lot of common ground between each character. And Star is more and more like, it's almost like he feels like, he has to like inject himself into a situation to kind of say, well, here's how you said the Wheels on the Bus song. It's, there's common ground there. And Star is realizing, I am not in Kansas anymore, boys and girls. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm noticing for Star as a character. So I'm excited to see where this will further go as we go into other worlds, I should say.
Yeah, like in general, like I do think it's interesting how some people are finding those common grounds right now. But also, like, kind of like Star Black Powder is an outsider in that he's from the farthest, like, time issue. Mm-hmm. Very, like, even in that little discussion in the front, like, his world is very, very limited on their ideas and not open-minded about people at all. And yet he's surrounded by people who kind of challenge every single one of those beliefs of his society. And it's, like, it's complete shock, but it's like, he doesn't mind it. Which to me is the fascinating part. I thought he'd like fight it a bit, but like he's like, yeah, no, Tori's a smart girl. Let her wear pants. Let her get educated. Star's flamboyant and a bit of an eyesore sometimes, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, I really love that you brought that up. Like you brought up those things with him in the beginning while you were having chili. So that was a great way to really get that topic into the forefront.
And he hasn't even talked to Frankie about the fact that, like, at this point in time, homosexuality is literally a crime that you can be killed for, potentially by the law. Mm-hmm. And it's like, God, that's gonna be rough when we go to my world. Like, that's gonna be some really rough shit. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness,
makes me scared.
Let's go to Black Powder's world next.
You wouldn't want to. Trust me, you wouldn't want to.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
I'm excited to see, once we get the information and everything downloaded, what do we have to do to get Victor?
Yeah.
I am so looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
I don't want to, like, overhype things, but when I came up with the idea of where exactly Victor is kept, I was feeling a bit excited. I was like, hopefully you guys will find this place interesting because it might not be where you would expect him to be. So we'll see.
Okay.
Cryptic. Excited.
Yeah. I just want Frankie to get his bay back.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
And not get his heart broken.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. When I thought about Frankie's growth, I imagined also growing in loss. If like, even if, let's say, they don't like some of what you were saying, like if for some reason he's brainwashed and he's completely different and wants to, like, that would crush him, but that's part of his growth, right? Sometimes the rosy goggles that you have to take them off at some point. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Same.